If you use it, it will work.
This week we looked at a message from Matthew chapter 4 where Jesus is taken into the wilderness and he's tempted by the devil. And 3 times he's tempted with 3 different, the lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and pride of life. And every time the way Jesus combats Satan during this temptation time is with Scripture. And he even does it through Scripture in the book of Deuteronomy, which many of us rarely probably have read. And it seems like it's not a place that you would typically go, but that's where Jesus goes. And when about 2 years ago, I preached a message on this same section of Scripture where Jesus is tempted, and we titled the message, "If you use it, it will work." If we use it, it will work. And that's what every time I hear these verses or anybody talk that idea, if we use it, it will work, resonates in my own mind. And so the problem isn't we don't have the remedy. The problem is we don't use it. We just rarely use the Bible when we're facing temptation. We try to fight on our own power and those things. And the reality is today we have a phone in our pockets, and we have it at our access at all the time. And so instead of bashing on that, let's try to utilize it to help us memorize Scripture, to learn Scripture. And so I want to give us 3 applications that can help us do that. The first one is this: the YouVersion. In the student ministry, this is the one that we primarily use. We try to connect small Bible plans, like 5-day Bible reading plans, with each of the messages that we do or the series that we do, so that our students have something to read throughout the week and they can keep up with us. And you can connect with other people on there and do that. So it's a really good resource for us to get in the Bible and to hold one another accountable through those connections that you can make on there and read different plans. The second one is called Fighter Verses. Now, this one is primarily for men. Most of the verses are directed towards men's issues, and this is my favorite one that I like to use. There's lots of different things. It's 1 verse per week that they select and give to you. It actually has like a really, really easy function where you just select it and it'll change your lock screen to the verse or even a art graphic with the verse on it. So that can help you every time you pull out your phone. Boom, you're going to see that verse that week. So it's really, really functional. Also, it has the ability to let you sing the verse, which is pretty crazy, but it can help us. We know many of us, if you're like me, you can still sing songs that you listened to when you were in middle school and high school, as terrible as they may be. They're still rammed in your brain somewhere, and you can just pull them out at random. And so singing verses actually helps us. So if we really want to be intentional about learning the verses so that we can combat temptation, this is obviously a really good way. So that's Fighter Verses specifically for men. Also, you have Scripture Typer. Scripture Typer is another Bible memory verse tool application, and this one allows you to select your own verse for however long it's going to take you, and you can actually type on your phone the verse, and it gives you these little kind of like game type things that help you type them out to help you memorize them as you go. Also, all of these have some sort of statistic in them, so you can actually look and gauge how you're doing on the verses, whether you're memorizing them or you're doing Bible reading plans on there. You can see the statistics of how well you're doing and how you're keeping up. And remember, this is not the point of it's not legalism. It's like, oh, I did it every day, or I memorized this verse in the week that they gave me. But the idea of measuring something is because you can only improve on what's measured. If you don't measure something, you can't really improve on it, or at least you don't know if you're improving or not. So that's the reason we want to measure it. And ultimately, the goal is so that when we get into places of temptation, that we will be able to have the verses in our hearts and in our minds to fight Satan and to fight the temptation that is presented to us. And remember, if we use it, it will work. And we have all kinds of resources given to us right in our pocket to help us do that. Remember that this week. If you use it, it will work. Not just this week, this year. If you use it, it will work.
If you want to check out our last video, click here. If you want to follow us on social media, just find us at sbcclinton. And if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, click here.